Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Monday evening centerpiece. Corey's finished, and now the real stuff can begin. It's the F1 Fan Show live with myself. As always, welcome in, and of course you can, if you're just joining us and you've got to nip out, blasphemous. Well, no, it is 8 o'clock. You've got 2 hours. You've got 2 hours, all right? Make it quick. Or if you're watching it back and you thought, you know what, I want to take you with me. I'm going out, I want to take you with me. You can download this podcast on all podcasting platforms. I've been told by the lawyers to stop saying all good podcasting platforms, just in case the odd one thinks they're good and they don't have us. Well, if they don't have us, they're not good. Anyway, so yes, we are on all podcasting platforms. Just search the F1 Fan Show live, and you'll find you'll hear my beautiful voice. In addition to my beautiful voice, you'll hear the voice of a generation, really, of F1 fans generation. It is the one, the only, the HN Network's F1 aficionado, Mr. Steve Thompson. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm well, mate. And yourself?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. So let's address the elephant in the room. And for once, it's not me. We weren't here last week. We planned to be here. We had gotten it. Well, I had got an agenda. I mean, you guys, the talent, just turn up. And I was ready. The artwork was done. The thumbnail, all of it was done. And then you what happened, Steve? What happened?
My amazing brain just forgot that I had to be in two places at once, and it was my stepdad's birthday. And driving to work on that morning, I was thinking, I'm looking forward to the podcast tonight. Oh no, wait a minute, I can't. I had to message you when I got to work and say, I'm very, very sorry.
You did. Yeah, it's like there was no race, so I let you off. But what I can't forgive, what I must never forgive, is the lack of cake that has been forthcoming since this party.
Well, you're in what? Where are you?
I don't care where I am. I could be on the other side of the world, man. All right. They've got Post, they've got Hermes, they've got DHL. DHL?
Yeah, Hermes use some cake. Yeah.
If you're going to cancel on me, on a lastminute.com, then I feel I'm deserving the sprinkles, some jelly, some ice cream. Perhaps not the jelly and ice cream through the post.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust that.
Perhaps not that one. But they can, especially in these darkened times, they can send things, through the post now. You can get
mail order cakes. Yeah.
Yeah, mail order everything.
I owe you some birthday cake. I'm sorry.
Good man. So we had a race this weekend, but sadly, well, not sadly, it's a bit harsh, but Neil is still sunning himself in the Costa del Cornwall.
Oh yes,
okay.
Living it up.
Now, Neil won't let us down. Neil will get us some, a stick of rock or something. He's not like some people on this show. He won't let us down.
Yeah,
but we have got the perfect stand-in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you want to big him up before we bring him in? Do you want to be his hype man? Because you know him a bit more than I do.
I do indeed. Yes, he's another F1 fan who I believe I actually got into Formula One. So I'll take that honour if it is true. If it's not, he'll probably tell me. Known him a good few years. He's a good friend. So knew him from work, even Daniel. He's my buddy JD.
JD Shaw. Good. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, and I will admit that it was Steve that got me into F1 in 2017. I didn't really care before that, but he grew that seed, and now I watch it all the time. I'm all over it.
2017. So who was your first? Who was your first big? I really like this driver.
I would say that I got quite into Verstappen first.
Okay.
I enjoyed him, but then
you don't like winning then?
Well, no, I found him a bit aggressive after a while, and I grew on Ricciardo.
Oh,
yeah, good boy.
Good weekend.
But now it's a Norris. I'm a Norris through and through, and I love Ricciardo still, and I cannot wait till next year. I'm sure. Steve knows.
Hang on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hang on.
But yeah.
Hang on.
We've got Neil who's a Norris fan as well, so...
Yeah, hang on then, I can change this. Look, no expense spared on this show. Ready? No expense spared. There we go. Boom.
Yeah.
Proper introduction now. Look, no expense spared. And it's all spelled correctly, which for me is the win. So you're a big Norris fan. Why Norris?
Well, I mean, he's a really funny guy. He's a gamer, and I'm a bit of a video gamer myself. I've got the wheel and everything to play my F1 game,
hey.
Which Steve also got me into, and that's probably one of the reasons why I got into it. But I will say that I'll never replace Neil. Neil is a great guy on this show, and I'm just here to help out.
Oh, don't! You're bigging him too much. You're bigging him too much. He won't be able to come back on the show. He's there to be out, around like Hey Arnold. But yeah, he's a big Norris fan as well. But you're a Norris fan, so you're used to winning a bit more than young Stephen here, because Stephen is obviously a George Russell fan.
I think Steve just likes to. What's the word? There's a word for it where you just like to be in pain all the time.
My favourite part of the weekend is watching Steve tweet, "Oh, could be points for Russell here," and then, a couple of hours later, it's all gone so wrong.
I do like Russell though, as in Russell as a guy. I think is incredibly talented.
Hey, yeah.
I really want him to do well, but Williams, well, they've sold the team now, so under new management, we don't know what's going to happen next year. I suppose it's all open after that.
Yeah, I was really confident in saying that Williams are going to get points this year. I'm less so now, so I'll say 2021 is the year, and then 2022 and 2023.
I've noticed that a guy just said, "I bet you love Mercedes," though. It came up on the screen.
Daniel Barnard, that's him.
I actually like Hamilton. I mean, Steve, I know, is not a big fan of Hamilton. I want him to become the world champion of the world, best racer officially on statistics ever, because he's a Brit. And then once that's done, Norris. Go Norris.
It wasn't a great weekend for Norris, though, JD, was it? I mean, it was if you like watching the race as opposed to being in the race. But talk us through why it wasn't a great weekend for the Norris, and what went on.
Well, I mean, if you want either me or Steve to start, but Norris basically had a power failure. He was doing quite well. He lost power, and then I think it was like 44. He ended up stranded on the gravel, and it was gutting. I was really gutted about it, to be honest.
It was tough, wasn't it? Because he had a genuine shot at a podium.
Yeah.
Because that McLaren had pace. It did. And it was more than matching the Racing Point and the Renault.
Yeah.
And there could have been a great fight at the end with him, Ricardo, Perez, maybe. And
do you think the tyres had it's quite cold at the minute because it's not the normal time.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the DAS system is helping Mercedes warm up the tyres quicker. But yeah, I mean, that McLaren, it's keeping up so well until that problem. Shame.
Yeah. It's tricky. Because, like you say, October in Germany, it's not going to be... We're usually there in the summertime, sort of July time. So it has changed so much, and the teams didn't know what to expect. The fact they got no Friday running at all, because both sessions were rained off, just ruined everyone's preparation, and they had no idea what to expect with the tyres until they all had to cram it all into FP3 or FP1 as it became. So
it was mental weekend. It really was. I mean, they all went off on the first corner, didn't they? Well, not off, but you know what I mean, as in wide, and Hamilton ended up pushing Bottas out a little bit there.
Oh, that was brilliant. Because as soon as Hamilton got past Bottas, I thought, here we go. Hamilton's going to run away with it. And I can have a good old moan about Bottas. And he just
if there's one
Hamilton
person
back.
you hate more than Hamilton, it's probably Valtteri Bottas.
No, I don't hate him. I love Bottas. I do. But he irritates me.
He doesn't have a killer instinct, does he?
Exactly.
Well, it doesn't seem like he doesn't have a killer instinct. Like,
no.
He just sits back and goes, "Okay, Hamilton, sir."
Yeah, after you.
He knows his place. He knows his role.
It's with you, JD. I mean, obviously, you got into F1 sort of after Nico Rosberg had retired.
Yeah, I don't know much about Rosberg.
And watching Hamilton and Rosberg fighting in the Mercedes was awesome. There was a race in Bahrain in 2014, the first year Mercedes were really dominant, and for basically the entire race they were side by side. I think Hamilton got it in the end, but they were just constantly side by side, and you won't get that with Bottas because after a while they'll think, you know what, go on.
So you got it with Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen when they were in Red Bull together. It was Azerbaijan where they hit, which is, by the way, a great F1 moment that everyone loves.
Oh, yeah.
But do you think Mercedes are happy with Bottas being non-killer instinct because it makes a better team winning? It might be boring, granted, but it does mean that they're going to keep on top because they know that Bottas will just go, go Hamilton,
Yeah, definitely. So I can just see a comment down there from Tim. I saw your earlier one about the cake. I'm going to just be sending loads of people cake. I do apologise. I'm going to be very poor. I'm just spending loads of money on cake.
He brings up Russell, Steve, and it wasn't a great weekend for Russell either, was it? Because he had a genuine sniff at points.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what happened towards the end of the race? But the Williams does seem to last.
Well, I can tell you if you
on
like.
its
Spoilers.
tyres.
He would have
Williams
got it.
seems to manage its tyres quite well, and he just has no. I'm going to ignore that. He just has no luck because it wasn't even his fight. You know, it was Kimi fighting with Vettel, and Russell was sort of there or thereabouts, and Kimi just lost the back of his car and trying to catch it, just hit Russell, and it was a hell of an impact. And I saw obviously yellow flags came out on the screen, and I saw a Williams facing backwards. But yet, of course, it's Russell. It would be Russell.
It wouldn't be
Yeah, I mean,
would it?
Russell's an interesting point though, because Russell obviously won the F2 league. He was champion, and he went to essentially the worst. Well, not the worst team on the grid. I won't say that. As in,
The worst team on the grid. Yeah, I know.
The currently aren't doing too well. They weren't doing too well, and he was like, "I'm going to try and build them up." Fair enough. But I do think Russell has way more talent than than it looks like he has, because you've got like Albon and even Norris, who are technically they didn't win their F2 championships. They've gone into better teams and they're performing better. I'd be in Mercedes. Didn't they loan Williams Russell or something? Wasn't he part of the Mercedes driver program?
He's still a Mercedes junior driver, I believe. He's still a Mercedes back driver, so that's why he'd never go to Haas.
I would love an eventual switch from Bottas to Russell. Can you imagine that?
It's going to happen.
I think.
Excuse me. It's going to happen. I mean, I don't know if it's going to wait until Hamilton either moves teams or retires. I think retiring is probably more likely for him in the coming years than moving teams. As much as when he left McLaren, he said he didn't rule out a return there, but he won't go back there now. I don't think he's too far down the line in his career, but. Hamilton and Russell, I think, will be a really exciting pairing to watch. Or Russell, when Hamilton does retire and go, Russell in there with another young Mercedes driver would be awesome.
Do you think he's going to go, though, before... I mean, I don't think Hamilton's going to go... Because obviously Raikkonen, who obviously we can talk about his record that he broke this time. But Raikkonen's, 44? What is he? 40. How old's Hamilton? He's like 38 or something, isn't he?
No, he's 34.
Well, exactly. He's way younger than that. I mean, I can imagine that if Hamilton keeps getting the goods, there's no reason for him to stop and break records and records and records so that no one takes that. I can't see him going. I mean, you could argue 6 years if he's 34 or whatever.
That's the thing. He could be going for years. I mean, he said about maybe having a couple more years, which really irritated me. So go now. But his driver, and he's still at the peak of his fitness, and he's still at the peak of his driving skills. I mean, Raikkonen isn't as good as he used to be. That's obvious. But Hamilton is as good as, if not better. He is much better than he was back in his first season, back in 2007.
He is good. Hamilton is good. I mean, you can argue about whether he's as good as he looks because he's in an incredibly good car. But you've got it. I mean, if you put him against Bottas, he's consistent. He really has... the endurance to do these championships. So you've got to give him respect, even if you're not a big fan of him. I like
for sure.
him, but there you go. I've never seen Hamilton be bad. In his early years, he was meant to be a bit of a bad boy occasionally, but I didn't watch that. I'm 2017 onwards, so all I see is him congratulating his team, his dad, everyone. So I don't see that.
He has become such a rounded driver because I've watched him since his first race, Australia 2007, and he staked his claim instantly because he passed Alonso, who was the world champion at that point, and his teammate around the outside of turn one, which no one really does. And you think, hang on, this kid's got something, And he did have a reputation for being a bit brash and a bit harsh, a bit like Verstappen was, I suppose, when he was first in F1.
Young,
and he smoothed it out. He was young, and at that point, I was a bit of a Hamilton fan because I thought, "Oh, great, we've got a British driver here who can potentially win championships." Because all we had then was Coulthard in a really bad Red Bull, and Button in a really awful Honda. I thought we've got a driver who can win here, and then I found out that I don't really like him. So
I like what Tim said, by the way. That'd be wicked.
That would be good. It will never happen though, and it's heartbreaking because they know that Max is not going to be a number 2, and he'll fight Hamilton whenever he can. And they don't want that because it's easy, even though he's a great driver. It's easy to get into Hamilton's head.
Yeah, but he's saying that he'd replace Hamilton, and then Russell would.
Oh yeah, I didn't read that very clearly. Yeah,
sure. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't know if you want to talk about records, but I don't know if it's on the menu, and I don't want to take the show.
Well, I suppose you've got to mention it, really, because he has done it, and I know it's to break Steve's heart. I wasn't sure if we should go there because it would hurt Steve.
I think we should go there because it will hurt Steve.
I like
Neil.
JD.
I miss Neil.
Oh no, JD. I put a permanent transfer request in. Costa del Cornwall can keep Mr. Moles. So come on then, talk to me about the record. Talk to me about it, Steve. Kick me off.
2 records.
Two records. Oh, even better. Go for it.
I mean, it was going to happen, wasn't it? It would have happened last week in Russia had he not had the penalty for doing his practice starts in the wrong place. It's just delaying the inevitable. So, and it looked like it might not happen yesterday either until Bottas decided to be Bottas and just muck up his tyres, and then his car died. Which obviously wasn't his fault, but the tyres was his fault. That was silly.
His tyre must have been like a 50p piece.
We're doing the record, Steve. Not bemoaning Bottas. We'll come to bemoaning Bottas in a minute.
I can't
focus.
Anyway, so it looked like we were going to have to wait to see this thing, but as soon as he got that lead and just cruised away, I thought, here we go. And yeah, taking nothing away from him. I said it in the article earlier. He's done a fantastic job. He's come into Formula One. He's won a race in every season. Yeah, Reed is good.
Good plug that. Good plug that.
Good plug.
I said in that he's won a race in every season he's been in F1, and that was including 2009 when the McLaren was absolutely awful. It wasn't even a point scoring car at one stage, and he won a race in it, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes, he's had the best car since 2014, but look how much he's dominated his teammates since then. He's only been beaten once, which is 2016. By Rosberg, and every other year, 14, 15, 17, 18, he's beaten all of his teammates and won every championship.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's 91 victories, and now that matches Schumacher's record. So one more victory, he's officially, statistically anyway, number one. And the second record was Raikkonen's record, 323rd F1 start breaking. I'll put this down. Ruben Barrichello. I don't know that guy.
Very close. It's basically my heart has been broken twice this week because I'm a big Schumacher fan, and Rubens Barrichello is my all-time favourite Formula One driver.
Wop wop.
I mean, I love Kimi anyway, so I'm not overly fast, and that was going to happen anyway. But I love. Everyone loves Kimi.
This weekend was rubbish for you, wasn't it? Paul Lambert won Manager of the Week. Manager of the Month. Sorry. Then you've got these two. I mean, you literally had the worst weekend you probably could have imagined.
I mean, I know Paul Lambert obviously won the Manager of the Month, but Ipswich won 4-1, so my Saturday got off to a good start.
So and he broke the record, and he broke the hoodoo, didn't he? And he broke the jinx on it. God, you must be
broke the curse. No,
you must be hurt.
No, I'm happy. I'm still a town fan.
And to top it off, Hamilton is the GOAT. Go.
No.
Well, he is, though, isn't he?
No.
But he is, though, isn't he?
No. But
bemoaning Bottas. Talk to me about Bottas. Talk to me because I know you like that subject, and I want to keep the talent happy. You see.
Well, I was just going to say back to the Hamilton thing quickly. 91 victories. It's going to be 92, and Hamilton's going to hit 100 race wins easily. And fair play to him because he's been fantastic. Anyone, even if they are the biggest Hamilton hater,
someone clip that up.
Well, even if you're the biggest Hamilton hater in the world, you can't deny that he's been fantastic.
I am going to get that on a soundboard every week from now on.
On a USB stick, I'll put it in his workplace on a telly just on repeat.
I've said my piece about that at work as well.
We'll get it soundboarded up, so every week I can just play it when you say something. I'll just say Hamilton is fantastic. It'll be your voice. It'll be your voice.
That's been taken so out of context.
Oh God, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Anyway, bemoaning Bottas. Let me moan about him. It's brilliant.
Yes,
sorry.
We know you like that one.
Yeah, I thought I wouldn't have to do it for the second week in a row. He's pole position and he's keeping Hamilton behind him. I thought, all right, so there's no moaning. Oh no, he's been Bottas again. He's locked up.
You've just been Bottas
for no reason at all. I mean, even now we know obviously what happened. Even if he hadn't done that, he'd have still retired anyway. But it's just pressure. He's not good with. Sorry, he's just not good with the pressure. He can still see Hamilton behind him. Hamilton's going to close the gap, and he's just an unforced error, which he's very, very good at.
Yeah. That is Bottas in a jar, really, to be fair.
He is an unforced error.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about Albon chipping Kvyat's wing? But obviously he got a penalty, and then that got thrown out the window, didn't it? Because 5 people DNF'd this weekend.
Bottas and Albon have had the potential for a very good weekend, but because the Red Bull was good around there. But Yeah, but Albon just seemed determined to hit both the Alpha Tauris because he hit Kvyat. He came across the front of Kvyat too quickly, took off his front wing. So poor Kvyat had to do an entire lap with 3/4 of his car. And then he just went after Gasly and almost hit Gasly as well. So I think Red Bull, they said, oh yeah, he had a punctured radiator, which was apparently the cause of his retirement. But I wouldn't be surprised if they said, just get him off. Just put him out of his misery. Come on, he's like an old sheepdog now. Just get in the pits and we'll make up something.
Yeah, these new rules in 2022. I'm just reading the tweet, guys. I don't know if you want to go over those, or is that for another video? Or
No. That is the next sort of topic, if you like, because Tim's brought up a really good point. They keep talking about the rules evening out the teams in 2022. He asked, what's going to be so different? What are the changes?
The biggest thing is going to be aesthetically. The cars are going to be a lot different. They're going to be a lot smaller. They're still going to sound awful, but they are making it more
aerodynamic.
Yeah, and there's less dependency on aerodynamic grip.
Yeah.
Because right now there's so much dependency on aerodynamic grip. If you're behind someone and you're trying to pass them, you can't do it because you've lost all the grip because you've not got the air pushing your car into the ground because that's basically being broken by the car in front of you. So the car in front of you's got all the grip because that's the one punching the hole in the air. But the chasing car hasn't got any grip to try and pass. And they're trying to make less emphasis on that because then you can have cars fighting up and down the grid. It could well even out the teams because the last big overhaul did in 2014. It sort of ended Red Bull's dominance and then gave us Mercedes instead, which has been even more boring.
Well, they're raising the maximum rev limit to 3,000 RPM while removing the motor generator unit heat. I'm just doing some research now. I mean, that's mental. They're really. Is that going to be?
Are you sure it's 3,000? That seems really low.
Well, they say that whilst raising the maximum rev limit by 3,000.
Oh, by 3,000.
By 3,000.
I thought you said it would make it to 3,000. That's nothing.
No. Yeah, I was just saying raising by 3,000 RPM. That's mental. Anyway, but they're changing a lot of stuff. It's going to be very different.
It's the only opportunity we've got in the coming years that could end Mercedes' dominance and also bring other teams into play as well. So it's going to give Ferrari a chance to fight back. Maybe Red Bull, teams like McLaren, Renault, those sort of teams are then going to be in prime positions to win races again. Williams could score points. They could become regular midfield, like the head of the midfield again. Williams could work their way back up to the front. Alfa Romeo could, Haas could. It could be anyone's game from 2022.
I would love to see a shake-up of the grid. I think it's been static for too long. I mean, yeah,
for sure.
Slight incrementations of Renault and Haas. Haas did well in 2018, but then they dropped again. But I would love to see a literal who the hell is going to win this year? What the hell is going to go on this year? That would be brilliant. I mean, Alonso's coming back as well, isn't he? For
next year.
Just so you know, by the way, Alonso is my Hamilton to Steve.
Oh, yeah.
I find Alonso, I mean, he's clearly talented, like Steve says about Hamilton. I'm not denying that. But he just seems angry at everyone all the time when you see him in interviews and in the pit. And he, like when he was in McLaren, he just seemed to boss everyone around. I don't know.
That's Fernando. He's always been like that. Trouble is, that's burnt him a lot of bridges.
Well, yeah, I can see why.
Well, yeah. He's an angry person. I think you're right there, but a very talented driver.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be exciting to see him back. But all these rule changes coming into effect. But I tell you one thing that ain't really going to be too bothered by it is Honda. Because bye-bye, as NSYNC once said, bye-bye, baby.
Well, they're focusing on electric, aren't they, Honda? And isn't that the reason they want to pull out because they don't want to be part of the sort of petrol side?
Well, I think Honda are going to be back again because this is the third or fourth time they've said, you know what, we're out. And then a few years later, they go, can we come back? It's quite fun, actually. And then they'll come back for a bit.
And floppy, though. Why would a team want to get involved with them if they're just going to mess them about?
Well, I think it's because the trouble is with Honda, when they came back into F1 in 2015, they had McLaren. McLaren didn't do a lot for them. I think, obviously, the car, they had a year less development time than the likes of McLaren, the likes of Mercedes, Ferrari, and Renault. So they're playing catch-up right from the off. The McLaren it was paired with wasn't brilliant as a chassis or as a car. And that sort of left a sour taste, really. But they've got really good. They've done well. They've won races in both Red Bull and AlphaTauri.
My favourite low-priced cars are Hondas in general. When I say low, I mean, the average cars that you get in Volkswagen and all that. I prefer Honda. I like Honda. I have a Honda.
Yeah, they're brilliant. And they've done so well in Formula One in the past. They had their own works team. They've won so many races as either an engine provider or a works team. The Williams Hondas were very, very good cars, I think, in the late 80s before they switched to Renault.
Yeah.
So Honda are a very successful team in Formula One. And when I read the news about them pulling out, it was a huge shock because I thought
that was good.
2022 could be their year to really kick on. If they switch development next year into 2022 early, they could take it by storm. So it's a huge shock, and it is a shame because they are a brand that's sort of synonymous with Formula One. There's certain brands that when I hear the word, I think of F1. One of which is Honda, one of which is Cosworth. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Nate King here makes a really good point, and I think that's a really good segue, Nate. So thanks for making the comment there. Renault and McLaren have impressed me this season. Obviously, at the weekend, we had a surprise. Oh, well, is it a surprise? Daniel Ricciardo?
Yes, I'm really happy about it. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo, he's a great driver. He is. I don't think the Renault's a good enough car for him, if I'm honest. I think most people thought he took a step down from Red Bull to Renault. But I understand why he did it, although Christian Horner said that he thought he was running from a fight. I don't know if that's completely true. But I can't wait to see Ricciardo in McLaren with Norris. I've said it before, but I'm bucking about that. It's going to be amazing.
It was a really good race from him, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
he got third.
Yeah, so really good race, Steve.
His first podium since he won for Red Bull in Monaco 2018.
Yep.
Going back to what JD said about that running from a fight thing from Horner, that really irritated me because he's not, but he can just see that you're basing your team around Verstappen and there's no place for him there. So
he
get
was
out while he can.
Verstappen. I don't think anyone looking at that would ever say different.
Renault was an unusual choice. I couldn't see him going there, but I thought that it could be a similar thing to what Hamilton did because after 2012, Hamilton left McLaren to join Mercedes, who were at that point a midfield team. He saw something that was going on there and thought, I want to be a part of that. And then a year later, look where it got him.
Boom.
I thought that was going to happen with Renault and Ricciardo. Like Ricciardo's obviously been there. He's seen something happening. Same why Alonso's coming back for next year. It's obviously not really materialised. So that's why I think it was so good to see Ricciardo on the podium because he's put a lot of hard work in, as has the team. And to see it rewarded. Yes, it was fortunate with Bottas dropping out, Norris having the problem, and Albon being Albon. But apart from that,
Gasly had to win because of some interesting developments in that race, which is great. I like the Nate King's comment there. No Shui on the podium, supposed to allow it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the money cap, though, although I think one of the comments said that they weren't. I didn't quite... Oh, here you go. I think the money cap for F1 will be the best. Oh, he did say the best thing, yeah. I thought that said that he didn't want it because it just flashed up for me. But yeah, I do agree. Money cap needs to happen, I think.
Definitely. That's going to... You could then go into any race and think, okay, so there could be 10 teams that score points here. Because Williams were the only teams to not score points yesterday because it was so much of that much of an up and down race. I'm going to gloss over your smirk there, boy. But it's that could be the situation for every race. You could think, right, okay, 9 or 10 teams could score points here because they're all limited. Because Williams, Alpha, they're never going to be able to compete, or Haas really are never going to be able to compete with the likes of Renault, Mercedes.
I mean, how did Haas do so well in 2018 and then they've just not done as well? I mean, they had the rich energy scandal in, was it 2019 they had that scandal, or is it 2018?
2019 Yeah, black and gold cars.
Yeah, the rich energy scandal, but they just seem to have, they were literally battling Renault for fourth. Where did they go? What happened? I like Magnussen. I'm a K-Mag fan, but I'm not a fan of Grosjean. I did support Haas at one point, but then they were like, we'll take Grosjean again, and I was just like, go away. I don't want anything to do with you if you're taking Grosjean again.
No, it's 2022 with the cost cap and everything, it's going to be such a huge boost for F1 because you're all going to be limited. So teams like Haas, like AlphaTauri, like Williams can then try and get themselves back up the grid. Mm-hmm. I do like Haas mainly for Gunther Steiner. I think he's the best person in the paddock, but it'd be great to see him actually happy for a change.
They all look like a bunch of Never mind.
Yeah.
Tim Reddish, money and quality of personnel will shine through. So surely, even with different rules, Mercedes with both will do the best job again, and the status quo will resume. I think that was in relation to the rule changes and what you were suggesting there.
I don't know about that, because don't get me wrong, Mercedes I'm sure do have a great team, and maybe there might be some bonuses, but they're surely going to audit the teams with salaries and everything. So you could still argue that they'll get the best team members just for the rep. Like, even if you ask someone, come work for F1, we can only pay you X, Y, Z. How many people would go, no, I'll leave it then? Like, yeah. They'll go anyway, won't they? So yeah, I see where it's coming from. But I think that you've got to do something, and I think that something is quite a big something, and it's got to do something. A lot of somethings there, but that's what I think.
I mean, it's a great comment. I mean, there are obviously different standards in different teams. So if you go to a facility like Mercedes in Brackley or Red Bull, Milton Keynes, they're going to have top of the range aero department, top of the range pit stop training. They're going to have everything. And if you go to a team like Haas, their facilities aren't going to be as good. Or if you go to a team like Williams have got world-class facilities, and they're now going to be improved with the new owners and the money they're going to be pumping in. So that's why I'm optimistic about them.
It'll be interesting to see where they pour their resources. Each team, one might go for, say, staff or aero or pit or whatever, as in, could be interesting.
A team like Williams, I think, will go for aero because they've got the Mercedes power in the back, so that's fine. The chassis itself is usually pretty good, but the car is draggy. The main problem is the car is draggy, and they need to sort out. They need to sort its aero out. So,
Okay.
And Nate King's comment there: reverse grid. No, not a fan. Not a fan.
I'm not a fan of reverse grids.
No,
I think you're just asking for trouble then, because you are going to get teams like Williams and Haas at the back who are going to be just a mobile chicane for everyone else, and that's just dangerous.
Fair enough. Well, there we go. So another F1 Monday night in the books. Only a few minutes over our prescribed time, but we're done. We're done. We're dusted. Back again Monday night next week, 8 p.m. As always, you can, of course, read that man there in the middle, Mr. Stephen Thompson's fine work. Link is again in the chat for you all. This week's F1 review is a very good read. I enjoyed it myself. Any more in the pipeline? Is in any more F1 content for us?
I've got a few little ideas. Yeah, I've got a few ideas.
Oh,
mainly, well, I won't spoil any, but I've got a few good ideas.
And what we'll be discussing next Monday?
Well, we haven't got a race, have we, this weekend? So
it's a fun day Monday.
Indeed. So we'll see if there's any developments around the paddock, up and down. There could be driver changes. There could be, because I wanted to touch on Nico Hülkenberg quickly. Drafted in on Saturday morning, and he did very well.
Very quickly.
Very well. Drafted in on Saturday morning. He was drinking coffee in Cologne on Saturday morning.
As you do.
And then he got a call saying, "Hello, mate, Lance is ill. Can you come and drive for us?" So straight to the circuit, straight in the car for qualifying, not even a practice session. And he finished 8th. So brilliant job. So I'd love to see some news in the coming days that he's got a seat for next year, but who knows?
Yeah. It was a good race, and you can read more about him in your article.
Yes, absolutely. It's in there.
Another plug. We've plugged it enough. Right, we'll see you all next Monday.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.